Hey everyone, this is Rose, and I welcome you to my random channel. Besides this video containing spoilers, I am not like a movie review expert. This is actually, I think, the first video on my channel that I'm gonna upload that's solely on myself reviewing a movie. And so please don't crucify me. I'm just a girl that loves good movies, and whenever a movie from a franchise I'm a fan of comes out, I always go to the fan events where I get to see the movies early. And I don't know, I guess because I got the chance to watch this movie 2 weeks before it's released in my country, I just thought I wanted to put my thoughts out there in the universe. And so there will be spoilers. Maybe it's because I'm not like a professional movie reviewer like other channels out there. I just don't know how to talk about this movie without getting like really specific about things. But to also help you guys out, down in the description I will have timestamps for all the different things I'm going to talk about. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom basically takes place 3 years after the last movie. And the island, please forgive me if I mispronounce any of these words, Isla Nublar. Basically, there are dinosaurs that are left on it when the main volcano that's on the island is about to erupt. And so the world is basically trying to decide what to do with the dinosaurs. There's, of course, the argument that, you know, let nature take its course. You know, these are things created by man, not created by God, so we should let history repeat itself. And then there's the side that's like, no, we should save these dinosaurs, we should save these animals, it's our fault that they're on this planet, we shouldn't allow them to die. Bryce Howard's character and Chris Pratt's character, Claire and Owen, they're called by a group to help save the dinosaurs off the island. But then, of course, the big, well, not the big twist of the movie, but the plot certainly turns when they realize, oh, this is not what these people want to do. They want to do something else with these dinosaurs. It's very dangerous. So anyway, I'm gonna get into my thoughts. They're not gonna be like in a chronological order. I basically just wrote things down as I thought about them, and here we go. Spoilers. First thing I'm going to discuss is Jeff Goldblum. Now, if there are any Jeff Goldblum fans out there, I hate to burst your bubble, but he's really only in the first 5 minutes and like the last minute of the film. I don't know if he's in like a congressional hearing, but he's basically giving his 2 cents, I guess, to Congress on what to do with the dinosaurs. And of course, he's on the side of, at least, I saw this movie about a week ago, and so please bear with me. He's on the side of the world that's like, you know, we shouldn't save these things. We made them. It's unnatural that they're on the earth, so let this volcano burn them all up, you know. At the end of the movie, he does have a really great line. But that's really it. So if you're wanting to see the movie because you want to see old Jeffy boy, yeah, you only really get to see him for 3 minutes out of the whole movie. And I guess the same thing can go with James Crowell, if that's his name. His character, you see more in the movie than Jeff Goldblum's. But unfortunately, his character is very short-lived. He's basically like an invalid. And this dude, this dude that's kind of taking care of him and taking care of his company by the name of Mills, he's basically being misled by this Mills dude, Benjamin. He's under the impression that Claire and Owen are being recruited to save the dinosaurs, when in actuality Mills is wanting to monopolize and only save like pairs or certain combinations of the dinosaurs to replicate, to make money off of them. And then unfortunately, I'm gonna get into the predictability of this movie, because a lot of stuff that happened in the movie I kind of predicted before it happened. But he basically gets killed in the middle of the movie by Mills. He basically gets smothered by a pillow, which they don't show. Yeah, I think the new directors that they have for the movie, they did a really great job of kind of tapping into like classic suspense films, because there are some graphic scenes, but then there are a lot of things that are left to the imagination where there's like cutaways and stuff like that, so you kind of have to like see in your mind, you know, what happens next, even though you know what happens next. So, you know, you don't see him getting murdered, but you know basically that's what is about to happen. And then the last classic character that you see doesn't really get a lot of screen time is BD Wong. He reprises his role in it, and yeah, he's basically a douche for the most part in the movie. Really all I gotta say. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna discuss is, of course, Chris Pratt and Bryce Howard. Their characters, of course, the movie kind of repeats the sexual tension and the awkwardness that's between them, which, you know, I remember how the last movie ended, and I kind of hoped that the movie would have continued, like, an actual romance for them, but it doesn't. It seems like they're separated. And then the movie kind of repeats what happened in the previous movie, where she has to, like, recruit him in, you know, and the awkward tension and stuff between them. I mean, you feel the definite tension between the two, which gets relieved towards the end of the movie when she kisses him. But, like, that's all they happen. Not that I wanted, like, a love scene between them two, but it's just, like, I kind of expected more. And to kind of tie into that, it's like, there are a lot of scenes in this movie that I kind of predicted before they happened. One being the opening sequence with the dudes in the subway looking for, like, the bone to I can't remember the name of the dinosaur from the last movie, but it's like they show shadows of something in the water, and it's like, okay, obviously these dudes are gonna die. And then the dude that's kind of handling the communication with the submarine with the people on top of the ground in the helicopters, there's this scene, and I know it's like a homage to like the classic movie, but there's this scene where, you know, it's raining, and obviously there's something coming out, or something that's looming by him in the woods that's about to get him, and the people in the helicopter are shouting to him, you know, come on, come on, come on, but of course he can't hear him, and he's like, what? I can't hear what you're saying. I was in my head while I was watching that scene, I was just like, dude, you're obviously in danger. You need to run. But of course they kind of egged that on, and yeah, it was just kind of predictable for me. And then I feel like the trailers of this movie kind of like gave certain things away, but also threw in things that don't really make sense, that you don't really see in the movie. One is like, I already know the fate of this dude, because in the trailer you see a guy climbing up a ladder to a helicopter that has a yellow parka on that gets eaten. When you realize Owen and Claire's relationship is kind of started all over, like in the last movie, back to the same way that it was, it's like predictable throughout the movie. You knew, oh, of course, there's going to be this awkward sexual tension between them two that's going to get relieved by some romantic moment towards the end. I mean, I guess that's the one, like, negative thing I can say about the movie, is how some things were very predictable. Just because the scenes were, like, predictable, it made the scenes, to me, kind of cheesy. Especially some of the humor that's used throughout the movie, with certain characters, certain lines, and awkward moments, where it kind of feels like it's cheesy and like they're trying a little too hard to be comical. I did notice that throughout the movie. There's one character in particular where I feel like that was his purpose. He's like an intern or something of Claire's that's taken onto the island. His name is Franklin, I think, or Frank, this kid with glasses. It's like, I found his character pretty realistic. Like, yeah, of course, if there was a young kid in that situation, that's how he would genuinely, like, react and stuff. And then there are certain things that he was doing that, like, I could see myself doing. But overall, I will admit that I found his character kind of annoying. It's like, some of the things that he would do, there were a lot of moments where I was screaming at the screen, and I was just like, you know, screaming for the people, like, run, climb up the ladder. The climb up the ladder moment is with him, because it's like, when they're trapped inside one of the buildings, after the volcano has erupted on with Claire, of course, one of the dinosaurs makes it into the room, and Claire climbs up this ladder, then he climbs up it, and the ladder falls, and it's like, my immediate reaction to a ladder lowering me back in a room with a dinosaur would be to climb up with a quickness up that mofo. But of course, he falls down, and then he's like shaking, and then he slowly turns around to look at the dinosaur, and then starts screaming. Like the whole time, I'm just like, dude, climb up that effing ladder. There was just frustrating moments like that that were kind of predictable. I'm not criticizing the actor. I think the actor's name is like Justice Smith. I think he did a great job. I'm sure that's not like at all what he's like in real life, but still, his character was a little frustrating. One of the sweetest dynamics that they do play a lot on, which I think was really good, was of course Chris Pratt's relationship with the Velociraptor Blue. It's just, seeing them together really is just so sweet. The movie actually does a lot of flashbacks via videos that Mills, the guy that works for Benjamin that's trying to recruit Owen, he's watching to kind of learn more about him and find out why Owen is so useful for the capture of Blue. You get to see these videos of when he's training her as a baby, and you get to really see how intelligent she is and how she's empathetic, which of course is why Mills is interested in her in the first place. But yeah, those scenes are always great. They'll make you smile, they'll make you feel warm and fuzzy, and then they do play off that a lot. Blue does not disappoint. She remembers Owen immediately, and she actually comes to his and the other character's rescue quite a bit, where you actually think that she could possibly die, but thankfully she doesn't. She actually is the reason why the Indoraptor dies at the end. She causes it to collapse to the glass ceiling, and it gets basically spiked and gored out by the skeleton of a dinosaur that's in the museum below. The movie ends with, I don't know, I can't remember if Owen is trying to save her or get her, but she decides to go off into the world and I guess escape, you know? I would say the scene that really tugs at the heartstrings, I mean, I shouldn't say spoiler at all. I mean, you should be able to judge from the trailers that the volcano does erupt, which I find really ironic, even though what's going on in Hawaii is not, of course, to the magnitude that this movie is. You know, it basically destroys a whole island. And I'm not trying to downplay the Hawaii situation. I mean, it's terrible what's happening. That scene is pretty heartbreaking to watch. One good thing I can say is that the action does not let up throughout the whole movie. There's constant stuff always happening. And of course, the whole sequence of the volcano erupting, the dinosaurs freaking out, the dinosaurs trying to escape, and then Owen, Franklin, and Claire basically being trapped on the island and them trying to escape themselves. It is such a heartbreaking scene. You see the dinosaurs suffering, you know, how all the different breeds would compare if they're all trying to race to the edge of this island. And then, like, I actually got misty-eyed at this sequence. I mean, I love animals, even though dinosaurs are terrifying. I just felt so sad because you get to see, you know, the dinosaurs are running and running, and then they make it to this, like, this cliff that goes off into the ocean, and you can see, you know, have you ever really thought, can all dinosaurs swim? Probably not. And so you see some dinosaurs jump, and then I think it's a Triceratops that you actually, basically, you're watching it drown in the water. And then Claire and Franklin, they're basically inside that glass orb thing from the last movie, and they fall into the water. I mean, it's a very action-packed, tension-filled scene. And Owen dives down. Chris Pratt gets a lot of, I call it heroic moments throughout the movie. He was very heroic in the last movie, but I feel like in this movie, he definitely gets more of that credibility. But basically, they get out of the water because Chris Pratt, he tries shooting the glass, and then he actually is able to pop the door open. And then when they actually make it back on the ship that's, the dock and the ship that's like trying to leave them with the poachers and the dinosaurs that have been caught, as the boat is like pulling off, you see I think it's a Brachiosaurus, and it's just left on the edge of the beach with the fire. You can see the fire and all the smoke, and oh god, you hear it crying and like moaning and stuff, and it is just so sad. They did a really great job with that sequence. I feel like if you effing hate dinosaurs, which I'm actually going to see this movie in a couple weeks with a friend that's terrified of dinosaurs, I'm pretty sure that she's going to get emotional still at this scene, because it's just so heartbreaking to watch. There is a big twist at the end, not really at the end of the movie, in the middle of the movie. It pertains to Benjamin's granddaughter. You find out that Benjamin actually clones his daughter, and so his granddaughter is actually a clone of his daughter that's no longer living. And so that's like the big twist that happens, and it's key in it's very important and ties in with a key moment at the end of the movie. But yeah, I really, they kind of tease it a little bit when she looks at like an old picture of her mother and she stares at the face. And then, you know, when I saw that moment, I'm like, she looks a little too exact like her mother. But of course, with my dumb self, it still didn't click in my head that she was cloned, just like all the dinosaurs were, you know, in the original Jurassic Park. But that's the major twist that happens in the middle of the movie. Something else that I will point out that I found really interesting that you're able to determine on your own in the scenes is that, of course, there is a lot of CGI in the movie, but you could tell that there's a lot of real effects, if you will. You can definitely tell it with certain scenes, especially with the Tyrannosaurus Rex, when Claire and Owen are trapped in the trailer with the T-Rex, and they have to do a blood transfusion to help Blue survive the wounds that she got when she was captured by the poachers. You can definitely see how there's actually like realistic effects where they have like, I don't know if they're robots per se, but they actually have dinosaurs built into the scenes, you know? And so I thought that was pretty cool that the movie wasn't just entirely all CGI. And I hate to say, the overall gist of this movie basically highlights how humans can be so terrible. Because when you find out the whole conspiracy that Mills has with what he really wants to do with the dinosaurs, he basically wants to replicate them to make billions and trillions of dollars off of them from buyers at an auction, but mainly for like war purposes and also for like sport hunting. And it's like, God, while I was watching the movie and you find out, you know, that's what he really wants to do with the dinosaurs, it's just like, this movie just makes humankind just come off as being so shitty. But I hate to say, I mean, it's kind of true. Just how evil humans can be. And I guess how, I'm not trying to get philosophical on you folks, but just how, I guess, how we dominate animals and control them. And it's like, I don't know, there were some scenes, of course, when the dinosaurs attack people where I just did not have any sympathy for the humans. I mean, I was actually cheering the dinosaurs on as it started, of course, the auction goes wrong, dinosaurs end up escaping, thankfully, and so they break into where the auction's going on, they start attacking and eating the people. Mainly because Claire and Owen, they get out by the aid. I can't think of the name of the dinosaur, but it has a very large helmet-like head. It breaks through the cell block walls and breaks the lock for them to escape out the door. And it gets into the the auction area, and writers and directors did a great job of of making the viewer feel and like be on the dinosaurs' side for the most part. But another thing I would like to point out about the movie is that I felt like with the previous films, of course, they devote a lot of time to like the human aspect of the movie, the relationships in the movie, the drama with the characters. But this movie definitely has, I don't know if it's equal time between the animals and the humans, but you do see a lot of dinosaurs throughout the movie, which I did appreciate. They get a lot of screen time. Another thing, I'm gonna go back to, I think his name is Rafe Spall, but he plays Mills. I was so perplexed with the whole movie because he seemed so familiar, but I couldn't put my finger on where I know this guy. And so I finally figured it out. There's a Netflix show called Black Mirror. If you've not watched it, you need to because it's really good. But he's in the White Christmas episode, which I can't remember if that's, I think that's the finale of the second season maybe. But yeah, throughout the whole movie I was just like, where did I know this dude from? I feel like he was a douche in whatever I've seen him in, and then I was actually able to figure him out. He does a really great job of playing the villain, definitely, in this movie. Totally believable. You will hate him throughout the whole movie. And then from the get-go, of course, you'll know that he's up to no good. One dinosaur I did appreciate seeing, of course, is the main villain, the Indorapter. I don't know, I have to say, I think I like this dinosaur more than the dinosaur that was in the previous movie, the Dominus Rex maybe, the one that went invisible in the last movie. The Indorapter is definitely more intelligent. Of course, I think they used, you know, the positive traits of all dinosaurs and Blue's intelligence too to kind of build from it. You really get to see just how intelligent and sneaky and evil and conniving this thing is, and it's believable. So they did a really great job with creating that dinosaur. Another thing I like to add is that, just like in the last movie, Tyrannosaurus Rex, even though it's scary in the few scenes that it's in, it does come through and saving the day again with a couple of moments. I would have to say the ending, what happens at the end, I didn't expect. Basically, Claire has the choice. They break the dinosaurs that have been captured by Mills out of their cages, and there's some sort of security system, I guess, that detonates on its own, where if anything goes wrong, it'll gas and kill all the dinosaurs, which is another heartbreaking scene to watch. You know, of course, Claire doesn't want them to die. She wants to open the doors, but of course she opens the doors and unleashes all the dinosaurs into the United States, into our world, you know. And I think Owen is trying to talk her out of it, being like, you know, is that the right decision? Da 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 da. And so the scene kind of leads you to believe that, you know, she's not going to open the door and she's going to allow them to die. And actually that's what she does. She backs away from the button that opens the door for them to escape. Well, the granddaughter comes through and she actually pushes the button, which lets the dinosaurs go. And of course, her explanation for her actions is the fact that she feels like she's like them since she's a clone herself. And so it's just like, oh boy. And this basically, I think, tells you that this is going to be a trilogy, because of course they can't leave it on that note, how our world is going to change when we have dinosaurs in the wild and stuff. I touched on this earlier. There are a lot of callbacks to the original. One scene in particular, the granddaughter is like in a servant lift thing, the thing that servants in the old day would use. It's like a gurney system that would lift the tray up, you know, to a room in a different floor. There's a bit where I think it's the Indoraptor that might be after her, and she's of course in it, and the door gets jammed, and it made me think of the original when the little girl's in the kitchen, the little blonde girl, and she tries to, it makes you think she's in the cabinet, and the door gets jammed, and then when the Velociraptor runs towards it, you realize it's a reflection. Kind of an homage to that, and you do see those throughout the movie. And one thing I did miss out on, which I'll let you guys know, is apparently there's a teaser at the end of the credits that gives you a hint to the next movie, which I had no idea there was one. And so, like an idiot, I didn't stay for it. And so, if you guys definitely plan on seeing it in theaters, stay in your seats till the end to see this little blip, or this little hint to the third movie. But this is it. I have no idea if this review made any sense. I have no idea if any of the spoilers I revealed has helped any of you guys out. But this is all I've got to say. So, if you've seen the movie, if you agree with me, if you disagree, or if you have other key points to include, please don't hesitate to leave them down in the comments below. Overall, I did like the movie, or I really did enjoy the movie. I would have to say that I do believe I enjoyed it more than the previous one. And so I'm excited and looking forward to whenever they make and release the third one. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about is just about an awesome experience that my nephew had actually a couple of days ago. He is in the Navy and he's stationed in Hawaii, and they were actually able to watch the movie 2 weeks before it's released in the United States. And I don't know if it was at the beginning of the movie or the end, but the Navy was actually surprised by the cast. And I will insert a picture. Of course, it's from a distance, but you can see the cast and the directors are there and stuff. And so just a cool moment that my nephew got to experience, which I think is pretty awesome. Awesome that the cast went all the way out to Hawaii to do that. So kudos to them. Makes them even more cool in my book. But anyway, I guess this is going to be it. Again, this is Rose. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching this crap. If you made it to the end, I'm curious to know. Leave in a comment below what your favorite dinosaur is from this movie series and why. If you made it to the end. If you found this video at all helpful or entertaining, then please don't hesitate to give it a thumbs up and subscribe and become part of my random family. And don't forget to click that bell for notifications. And until next time, I hope you all have a great day, and you will see me again hopefully very soon.